Alright. Okay. Yeah, well, this is day 2 of the cloud co-working experiment and that Regarding 365 are running. We are powering it by Microsoft Teams. We're connecting people within our little community, and we're trying to, I guess, grow this experiment. We had a few learnings yesterday which were quite cool. So let me just get in. I'm going to work now, and I'm trying to connect with people who may be in the room. I might be the first people in the room. Let's see what this is like. You might notice that I'm connecting using the Edge browser. At the moment, the Edge browser allows me to share my video, share my audio, join a meeting in Microsoft Teams. And I'm joining a team which is sitting in Lorien Strant's tenant. You might have seen a tweet about the origins of the name of the tenant. Interesting thing. There we go, it's called San Junipero. And look, I forgot the story behind it, Lorien. But we're logged in here. Now, of course, I'd logged into this browser a little earlier, so it took me through. You might be asked to log in quickly. But what's the point of this? This is the point is to try and connect people who are working remotely, so that they are in a virtual co-working space, a cloud co-working space, so that they can feel connected with other people. Now, they don't have to be from the same organization. Like a co-working space, you could be sitting across someone from across the table with someone else. You could also be, let me just check and see here. You could also be, just working together with people who have nothing to do with the kind of work that you do. Co-working spaces are like that. You can get a really cool dynamic going on where people are able to share information, learn from each other. In some cases, that might be, oh, look, I know something about that, and interject. So I might just go a little bit further and talk you through what we're doing here. We have a Microsoft team. We've invited a few guests in. As I said, the team is located in Lorien's tenant, and as an experiment, we've got a few people in there. Now, what we have found is that we had a perpetual or a recurring meeting that Lorien had set up, and there were 2 ways that we could join that. One, if we clicked on the link in the invite, we could join directly to that meeting. So that's okay, but we have to find the email. The second way is if Lorien was in and running the meeting, then we can join that meeting. And that was the tricky thing, because Lorien this week is on holiday with his family. So what we found worked quite well yesterday was that first person in, which in this case is me, joins or jumps into the channel, and I'm just going to fire up a new meeting. Now, I'm thinking we can create a thread per day, because if you have a look at yesterday's thread, this was quite interesting. You get this interesting dynamic game where the meeting was started. There it is, 2 hours and 15 minutes. So that was Owen and myself. You can see just an indicator over here, the icons of who joined. Yeah, Owen came back from lunch. I dropped in and out, and Lorien joined. So at that point, we had 3 people in that meeting or meet now instance. We have another one where it was Lorien and myself. And I sometimes have been joining via my tablet, so rather than using the web browser. But we're experimenting a bit with that and trying to get a feel for what works well. I think you can get this dynamic going across all sorts of devices. And I've got a tweet there. Lorien forgot to invite Daniel Glenn into the team, so I think Daniel's now watching this live stream, and I wouldn't bother Lorien at the moment because the family's at Disneyland at the moment, so I wouldn't expect him to try and add you to the team at this stage. But ultimately what we're going to do once we get from this experiment is we'll create a cloud co-working space in a tenant for Regarding 365. And we'll set that up so that other people can experience this too. Anyway, back onto the analysis of yesterday. So you see there's been different times where people have joined and not joined, and you can see the chatter that goes on in that thread. So we're still norming and storming, trying to figure this out, but I think this works quite well, is to start the perpetual video meeting, video call from the same thread so that we can keep going. And now what else have we got going here? So I'm going to start a new thread today. And yeah, let's go down here. We'll start with Meet Now. Now I'm using 2 cameras on my device. You'll see the camera that I'm using for my live stream. I'm using a Dell XPS, which has another webcam on the device down in the corner. So let's just flick to making sure that works. So yeah, it's a funny kind of camera. It angles up, but it's one way of me sharing 2 cameras at the same time. So here's where the tricky part comes in. Because we're across all sorts of different time zones, what do we call this co-working space today? Do we call it Daryl's date, and he's experiencing the day ahead, whereas the US is a day behind, and Europe too, but just gradually ticking over to the following day? My friends and mates in South Africa who are part of the Regarding 365 team, they're probably about to click over to midnight, which it'll be today, right? So we're figuring that out. Maybe I'll call it like this: 13, 14. Whoops. Cloud co-working space. Yeah. I mean, we don't need to do that because that's the purpose of this channel, is to have a channel for cloud co-working. But the date hopefully signifies that it covers the 2 time zones, or the multiple time zones, and then I guess the following day would be 14th, 15th. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. Let's meet now. And the general idea with this is that I'm joining the meeting, but I'm not necessarily engaging with people. It's just like I'm coming into a meeting. Maybe might have to just adjust some volumes here so we don't get any echoes. Let me just make sure there. Turn that right down for now. I'll come back to that. We will need that up later on. But the idea is that we've got this co-working space, and I don't necessarily feel obliged to talk. I might just drag Alistair in here. I'll come back to that. I don't feel obliged to talk. I keep working. I'm hearing other different discussion that might be going on. If I have a call that comes in, then I might leave the meeting, leave this co-working space, and then come back after that meeting. I might just put myself on mute, so you can still see me talking, a bit like I'm across the table from you, but I have the added advantage that I can just mute you, which is kind of useful. So back to Alistair. So here I am. I'm in the meeting, in the cloud co-working space, and I've turned on the participants pane, which allows me to see who else is in the team, and I can see that Alistair's working. Do I just drag him in? Or do I send him a message and say, hey, you're coming into the office today? We talked about this and thought, well, maybe it's just like placing a phone call, and he'd ignore it if he can't make it, if he doesn't want to join. Might respond with an IM, so let's just try it on. Invite him. Double click. Connecting. Alright. I might just try and put this off here like this. Hopefully I can balance up my audio. What have I got for audio? Now I'm a bit spoiled here for choice because I've got quite a few audio devices. Just make sure that that's working. Yeah, that seems to be working there. Now I won't actually hear anything until he connects. Back to that. Yeah, it looks like Al's busy. It could be on his mobile, could be just that he just can't make it, so he might ignore it. And there might be some people later on today that will join me. And that's what happened yesterday. People were in and out, on and off. Here's Al. I don't know if you can hear me, dude, so I'll just make sure that I've got my audio fine. Hello, hello? Hello, hello? Bouncing around. I know I'm getting picked up here on the live stream. Let me just do this. What am I using for my playback devices? Yeah, seems to be working. Probably not a great idea to be streaming at the same time as working. Let me just see if I turn this off and back on again. Power off. Power on. Battery medium. PC connected. PC connected. PC connected. And microphones there. Integrated cam. Okay, so not a great idea to try and live stream at the same time when you haven't figured out audio. Live streaming interrupting our audio, but we'll join you soon. Thanks for being a Muppet. Crash test dummy. Test dummy. Alright, so further explanations. What else is going on here? All this chat is going to be part of the thread, so that's really cool. And if you go back out to here, here's the thing with Teams, that you don't have to have this full screen thing going on the whole time. I do like it full screen. So this is the full screen here, and that's, you know, fully on my monitor, which is really cool. But what you can do is you can just branch out to your team. Click, and you can keep working within the different channels that you're working on, and the cloud co-working space is up there showing the active speaker or active user. So yeah, we're going to share some more learnings. Once I guess Lorian comes back, we'll figure out how we can get other people in via guest access. So if you're seeing this, it was not prepped. I just switched on my webcam with no makeup on. Oh, yeah, good stuff. Alright, so I'll leave you to it. Hopefully this stream, we can turn it into a recorded video to show some of the experiment. I just used the live now or stream now capabilities. Yeah, and we can't hear you, dude. if we could hear you. Alright, so yeah, tune in out. We'll catch you a bit later. We'll share some of our learnings, and hopefully we can get some of you in to join us. Catch you later.